A topic was brought to me by Chris. Shout out to Chris. But he wanted me to talk about this, so we're going to talk about it. So, start off, like, I've seen in life, just,
Personal experiences.
well, not personal experience, but I've seen other people's personal experiences. And Maury, where women, where women just, like, don't know how to treat good men. They get pregnant on them with other dudes.
You ain't lying.
Take
Preach.
advantage of them.
Preach.
Gold diggers.
Yes.
Take all their money.
Yes.
Cheat on them
I've
multiple
seen
times. Dudes still take them back, and then they just trifling.
Dumb.
Trifling females.
Yes. Trifling.
We do have some of
Trifling.
them trifling females out there too.
Well, I think it's like the women. I just think
They ain't got a
it's
father
all
figure in their
about-
life.
Some women don't have fathers in their life, so I just think they lacked.
Some of them have fathers on, and still hella just stank and dumb.
Well, obviously the father didn't do something right.
But
Yes. Praise.
But let me
Preach.
just put things. Let me just say this first. I don't think it's anything wrong with the dudes. It's definitely the women. Some women, like, okay, it's like some people say, like, oh, nice that like women don't know how to, or women treat them bad because they can run over them. Like,
Yes.
Because
That's, I
they think
seen
they
it.
see
That's
somebody
true.
who's like weak, because like
so I just think women, when a guy is dangerous or something like that, or when he feel like he can't treat you, I don't know why people are attracted to things that are good for them. And that's really what it is. So like some women out there like the dudes who may smack it up, slap them, call them a hoe, a bitch, and like whatever else can come to mind. And think that's cool and like to be in a relationship where you just battle constantly with somebody
Yeah. And
versus
you the one giving
somebody
you
who
that
treats you
money
good,
from the simp,
wine and dine you and treat you like a queen.
and he a simp,
People
and
like
he don't
that
want to
other
give him. He ain't got no swag.
target stuff. But so yeah, I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
So when if you have something, go to the next dude who ain't even doing, who ain't got
$1,000,000
nothing,
question.
ain't bringing you nothing to the table and treating you like crap, but yet you got the best dude over here, and like it's crazy. So, but yeah, like I said, just seeing people who you see all the time on Maury, like Maury, he takes care of me. I ain't gotta work. I ain't gotta do nothing. But yeah, I'm a hoe and a trick, and I went out and cheated on him. Now I don't even know who the father of my kid is.
Yeah.
Like, and then you get on there, and a good dude gets on there, and he be like, my kid, my seed, and then you gonna tell me this ain't mine, and then they run. Then later, like, you are not the father, and then they run off, and it's like it's all bad. So,
put the horse.
yeah, I don't.
Yeah, but you know what? It's all good because they'll get theirs one day.
So, and then like my thing, but what makes me mad though is like I've seen people they have a good dude like, dang, they got a good dude, like that's work. Can I give me the work? Can I give me one? And then like they treat him like crap, and it's like I feel bad because like in certain situations, like certain previous situations, like I've seen someone do that. You almost want to be like, nah, dude, that ain't like you getting like. I wish I could tell you, but your friendship is more with the other person, so you can't even tell people like damn, like you getting played, son. Like I wish you could just move on. Like I wish you knew what I knew, but I can't even do that or whatever. But then like after people do find out or situations where they realize what's really going on. Then the good dude turns like, oh, well, she did this to me, so it affects all their other relationships after that, and you don't want to be a good dude no more. So it's like, it's crazy. It seems like the crappy females get the good ones and just get turned out, like, because of the hoish ways the females want to do. So I don't understand that. I don't get it at all. Like, you got a good dude. Gotta hang on to him.
You better. We rare.
All right, peace. It's your boy Solo. We had great conversations and sex, and he even admitted that he enjoyed my company. I definitely started to like him more than he liked me. I think that made him uncomfortable. He mentioned a couple times that I should let things flow naturally and take time to get to know each other. But because maybe a little aggressive, always calling and texting him, asking him when we can hang out the whole nine. I basically became the pursuer, and he started seeing me less and saying he's busy with work and blah, blah. Sometimes he doesn't respond to my texts for hours or even days. He recently didn't contact me for about a week, and I went off on him. I insisted we see each other and demanded closure. But he never returned my calls or texts. I've obsessively contacted him for days, texts and calls. But he still hasn't answered. He even blocked my number for a few hours. He unblocked me, but still ignoring me. Did I run him off for good, or is there still a hope? If there's a chance, what can I do to get back in his good graces? P.S. I thought him unblocking me after a few hours was a good indication that there might still be hope, or I might be delusional. Let me just be upfront and there is no hope. Okay, there is no hope with you reconciling with this brother. There's no hope unless the guy, ends up being thirsty and he needs to let one off, and he knows he can call you. And let this be a lesson. The lesson for you here, young lady, is very simple. You pursued this man too hard. He even told you, hey, let's let things flow naturally. Okay? But you mentioned it yourself. You became super duper needy and always calling and texting him, and that turned him off. And just as women get turned off by guys who exhibit simpish behavior, and yes, women can be simps too, you as a female exhibited simp behavior, okay? And by calling him and texting him, you basically ran the poor fella off. You ran him off, okay?
Hello everyone. It's James again. And their fathers in their life. And when this family dynamic is thrown off kilter, it can. And usually does have devastating effects on both male and female children in such a household. Usually women that grow up in such a dysfunctional situation never know how to, nor do they learn how to bond with a male. Thus when they become an adult and are in the dating world, they don't have value in their minds and hearts for a man. So it's easy for a woman such as this to take advantage of and hurt a decent man because she doesn't have the ability of having empathy for his pain. Usually women that have great relationships with their fathers, they tend to pick good men to date or marry. And they treat them very good. And the reason is very obvious. They have learned and know the value of the good man. And for them it means something. Because everyone like this tends to see a little bit of their father in the man they have chosen to be with. And hurting this man would be like hurting the father that they love so much. But the women that haven't grown up in such a situation don't have that connection. They don't have the sense of worth of a man's word, love, pain, and joys. Quite simply, they just don't know how to value him. Because they haven't learned how to value him. Some of arguments of, well, men should raise their daughters and be in their life. Well, it isn't that simple. Usually women that don't treat men well were brought up in a home where the mother kept the father out of the young child's life and prevented this father from being a part of the raising process. So besides the father not being in this young girl's life, this young girl gets to see this real-life crazy drama played out where her father gets made out to be the bad guy. So, no matter the reason, when a young girl misses out on the normal bonding between her mother and her father, her outlook on relationships and people in general can get thrown off. And if she hasn't formed a strong bond with her father, she doesn't know how to form a strong bond with any other man. There's an old saying that women have. How he treats his mother. Well, men need to start adopting this for women. Start picking women that have great relationships with their fathers. And make sure these women have strong fathers. Not fathers that do whatever their wife tells them, but a man that is respected in his home. If a woman that you are with has a father like this, a father that she loves, your chances of getting the same kind of care and love is high. Like this, sees a little bit of her father in you, and hurting you would be like hurting her father. Women that have great relationships with their fathers tend to be more loyal and family-oriented. They tend to be the types that will do what it takes to keep the family happy and the family together. Because...
Hey everybody, how you doing? When it comes to one income, it got hard, it got rough. We started having financial issues. We had issues in our communication. And keep in mind, I was sick throughout my whole pregnancy. But even after my pregnancy, I think for 2 years, we really, really struggled. When I say struggle, I mean, at least all our bills were paid. And I can thank God that our bills were paid. We had groceries. But we did not have the money to go out and do things. I mean, it's like after groceries paid, after bills are paid, groceries are bought. We had like literally probably $100 or less in our account, but that's like over the next 2 weeks. You know. But you know what though, I'm gonna give my husband props because my husband would still cook for me. He would help me clean, even though we had our ups and downs. I mean, that man, he loved me. You know what I mean? He treated me like a queen. He wanted more for me, and I wanted more for my husband. But I think it was more of a struggle for him because he was the provider. He was the only one bringing in the on him. And trust me, I was still in school. I wasn't just at home watching our child. We couldn't afford daycare. But I was still in school. You know, I wasn't really, being lazy, taking advantage of him. You know what I mean? But I did go out looking for jobs. Never had interviews, didn't get the job. Okay, so I said, you know what, Lord, I'm gonna do my role in the household. And me and my husband, we talked about it. We came to agreement. We agreed that I would just go to school. Okay, but I'm grateful for that man because even to this day, we're in almost our 4th year of marriage. And I still stay home. I still take care of my child. And I still go to school full time, and my time is not idle. You know what I mean? Filling with church. We're doing Bible studies now. My child, when he comes from daycare, take care of him. I'm going to school full time. It's a lot of work, working out, and, just keeping myself busy. And, motivating my husband and pushing him forward. So now, I've learned this over the years, and I've seen stuff like this over the years where women will get a good man, right? This man may not have the most money. He may not have the best car. He may not even be the most attractive. This man is smart, though. He works at his job and he works hard. He's his wife. He will cook and he will clean. He will pick up would still think you could do more. She would still think that guy over there is better than you because he has more money. But what you may not know about that guy over there is that he beats women. That guy over there may be a child molester. That guy over there may be a rapist. That guy over there may not even respect women, but because some women have money, see money signs in their eyes when they look at men, or they see materials or a nice car, they're only seeing the exterior and not the interior. See, that husband that you have, he's showing you who he is on the inside. He's showing you he can be faithful. He's showing you he can be a good man. He is showing you that he is a godly man, but for some reason, that is not enough for women. And I'm trying to understand. I don't know why. Am I a perfect wife? No, I am. I have made mistakes in my marriage. Trust me, I have. But one thing that I can say is that I am grateful for the man that God has given me. Another quick story. Me and my husband, we're both short. We are both short. My husband's like 2 or 3 inches taller than me. Okay? But that man is so great and mighty in my eyes. Height is nothing to me. Okay? Because I think if he was taller, would that change him? Will he be a different man than he is today? And I think no. I have dated a tall guy who was awful. Okay, I'll put it like that. Never again. Now, I've dated another tall guy who he was a nice looking guy. Didn't work out. You know what I mean? But it's not about the exterior. It's all about the interior. Okay, women, let me tell you this. And I put this on my post too. I said, if that man cooks a dinner better than a restaurant, you need to dine in with that man like you're at a restaurant and like it's the best date in the world. I have also said on that post, if that man makes love to you and has you on cloud nine, feels like you're on cloud nine for days at a time, cherish that man. If that man stretches his last penny for you to be able to go out shopping, get your hair done, your nails done, get those shoes that you wanted, if he stretches his last penny to make you happy, why are you ungrateful?
I'm doing fantastic, Ben. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. How are you? All right. So today, just to remind you guys what we're doing. So I had a challenge, and I accepted the challenge. And the challenge was to do 7 days of content on my channel here on YouTube. And I didn't want to do it just like randomly what I felt like doing. I really wanted you guys to chime in, and I really wanted to do something that was specific guys would want me to do. So what I decided to do was I opened up a Gmail account, an email box, and it's called It's Kel's Collective. And what I want for you guys to do, and it would help me have human rights sector. I am currently finishing my PhD in International Relations from Cambridge. So let me pause right there. Brother is educated, traveled. I mean, he's dropping big words, attributable. He stayed in England, human rights sector. So far, he is sounding like a catch. You know what I mean? If you guys watched, I'm gonna pause right there just to catch you up on some backstory. I started my dating series when I was in London. I went to go study overseas, and everybody was asking me, how's the dating scene? How's the dating scene? How's the dating scene? So instead of just like responding to everybody individually, I started writing about how the dating scene, oh, my head tie fell. I started writing about how the dating scene dropping right now. It seems as though he's looking for a specific type of woman, but he might not be putting himself in the right place at the right time. Let us continue, shall we? All right. So I know a multitude of African American guys who have careers, and the only significant drawback is that they reside overseas. Okay, we all have the same complaint. African American women are simply not interested in us. Okay, so he resides overseas. It is kind of difficult to find, or he looks like a goblin. You're horrible. A raid night or whatever. I'm about to block you because you're writing some trollish comments. Anyway, so he's saying that he can't find African American women. Well, he resides overseas, so it is kind of difficult sometimes to find African American women overseas and African American men overseas because it's just a smaller population of them, and you have to go where the expats are. So maybe it's not the right place at the right time kind of situation for him. Let's continue, shall we? So, but he's saying there's a multitude of African American guys that are having this issue. So he must know like a clique of guys that are maybe he's unattractive, but he does have, let's talk about that unattractiveness. Let me tell you something. Let's pause right there again. Men don't have to be pretty. Men don't have to be super, super duper attractive in my book. In my book, to be providers and protectors. So long as you can take care of a household, can take care of a woman you want to date, then you need to be able to handle your business. And
hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to talk about the regression of male values, the destruction of male virtue, and ultimately the destruction of men. In a recent podcast, I spoke at length about this particular topic, and I think it would be very useful to men, especially young men, to understand this pretty basic process that's going on so that they can avoid it, recognize it, and overcome, the pitfalls of the situation. So let me tell you what I'm talking about. we, as rational men who interact with reality and have to make our way in the world, have a certain set of values and virtues that have essentially built civilization up to this point. And, you have to have this to navigate the physical world. So there's a process by which these values are being subverted. And it's really not even a very complex situation, because here's the thing. The men are biologically driven to please the women, and they're conditioned from childhood, from infancy, to behave in a particular manner. And you can understand it. You don't even need to be like, oh yeah, that's wrong, that's horrible. It's like, no, they curb down the aggression of the male children. They focus it. They shame it when it goes too far. It's a method of control. But there are certain parts of the male makeup that are necessary for the man to become strong and to function effectively in the world, to be an independent, self-reliant individual. And these values, they're at odds with multiple aspects of the civilization. Firstly, they're at odds with the efforts to control and to shape, just to guide the young man. And they're also at odds with this system of attempting to control and use this young man. And he has to go along with this system in order to get ahead in this system. So his masculine values, his independence, his fearlessness, his aggression, his desire to take charge, all of these behaviors and tendencies, what I would call male virtues, are being curbed, are being guided, are being shamed, are being controlled, are being shaped. And to the degree that he's willing to go along with this, he will gain the approval of the feminized, blue pill, gynocentric world around him. The better that he can harness, or he will allow the world to harness his male strength, his male virtues into activities that women in a blue pill world approve of, the more that world will reward him. Okay, that's understandable, right? No problem. Now, I don't know if any of you guys play chess, but there's a pretty simple process called pinning, okay, where you can pin one piece because it's defending another piece, okay? So in other words, if there's a pawn in front of the queen, okay, and you line up a rook on that row, that pawn can't move. Because if that pawn moves, that queen gets captured. So you could then pull up right alongside of that pawn, right, with another attacking piece. And if that pawn attacks, you'll capture the queen. So it's a fairly simple process, right? There's a nice little trick for you if you like chess. It's just a tactical thing. Work on it. Whenever you see a very valuable piece lined up on a row with, another piece, consider that, you might want to try to pin it, there by just attacking it, right? So what happens if the man is, with all of his virtues, that build society, that protect society, that lead society, without whose virtue and strength your society will fall apart, will crumble from the inside out? So what happens if the most important thing to him is to get together with the woman, to fulfill that biological role? And what if the way to get together with the woman is to become materially successful, to gain status in a capitalistic system? Or actually, not exactly a capitalistic system, just more like a socialist system, right? That's the way that you gain status. That's the way you gain access to the female. And I say, what if, right? Because, that's the system that we're dealing with, isn't it? So the man, since his priority is to get together with a woman, he will subjugate and subvert all of his virtues and values to that other cause. So now, if you can control the woman psychologically, her values, what's important to her, what criteria she's using to pick her mate, if you can decide that, you can now control the male. The male is now neutralized. He's pinned because he'll do whatever he needs to do to get together with the woman, right? And what the woman wants is material possessions. That represents status to her. So now the man is a slave to getting material possessions and status. And all of his other virtues, you can just brush them aside if you can control his access to material wealth and to status. And I keep saying if, but this is the exact process that's going on. And I'm not saying anything that, like a lot of you guys are very intelligent guys, you've thought about this some, you're a little older, and you're like, yeah, okay, that's exactly what's going on. But go ahead and play it out. What happens is you get older and you keep compromising those values to gain material wealth and to gain status so that you can get together with a woman. Will you run out of male virtue? Will you compromise male virtue to such a degree that when you need it, you don't have it? So that's the process that's going on. And it happens at a very young age. Some by necessity, just in training a young man to not be, really destructive and aggressive and to harness his own energies. So there's a reason for this training and this conditioning. But then if you can control the women, in other words, if you can turn them into a bunch of materialistic, entitled princess bitches who decide that their material care is the most important thing in the world and that their feelings are what decides reality, not male strength and male virtue, which is actually what shapes reality. So if you can get the women to believe, and pitch these types of fits, you're now controlling the man through the emotions of the woman. Do you see what what you can do as a leader, as a government, as a person with a lot of resources, the way that you could enslave the man by controlling the woman? And the woman is just so materialistic. She doesn't have these virtues and this vision that men have. She doesn't have the tools and the skills to manipulate reality the way that the man does. So you end up creating this false welfare state, this, environment of political favors. It's like, oh yeah, this guy's friends with that guy and they're going to help each other because they're friends. And it means that they're going to make more money, okay? And it means that they're going to have greater access to the women. But they're not going to help out their fellow men. You know what I mean? It's at odds with all men being strong. So it's, the individual man is selling out all of his male virtues and the things that will make him strong and make men strong so that he can get ahead, so that he can get access to the woman, and the woman is corrupt. The woman is just 20% beneath the man. She's just a greedy materialist. So even as the man gets older, and he's been conditioned to do this and he's biologically driven to do this, to get together with the woman, he keeps compromising these principles. And I compared it to a dog that begs versus a dog that carries itself, with dignity. And I'm pretty sure most of you have seen this, when a dog is begging, when it's just running over to people and rolling over on its back and, opening up its legs. And even if you reject the dog and try to push it away, the dog just keeps coming back for more, like it's retarded or something. And it's begging and it wants to be friends. And it's sad, but it's disgusting. And you contrast that with like a dog that's guarding its own territory, that's cool, that's calm, that's collected, that's aware, that's just relaxing, that's just chilling, and then it hears a noise and its ears perk up and it turns in that direction and it goes to check it out, and you're looking at that dog, and you can admire that dog and you can say that's a real dog, he's going to protect his territory, he carries himself with dignity, he's not going to roll over on his back and open up his legs and start panting. But that's what the men do for the women. And the women are controlled by their greed and by advertising and by group bias and by feminism and doing the right thing. And they have been conditioned to hate their men and to hold their men in contempt. And the values that the man has in his ability to work with reality and to, fight through these difficult aspects of reality and to make the adjustments. I mean, that's really the problem right there, okay, is that the man is going through life and he doesn't make the necessary adjustments that he needs to make because he's like a woman. He wants to be like, well, I want to do it this way and I want to be emotional about it. And it's like, well, then you're going to turn into a big fat pig that's really not effective. And it's like, well, then I hope you can get health insurance. I hope that the system is compassionate towards you. But those are not the male virtues. Those are not the male values. The male virtues and the male values would have been for him to say, oh, shit, things are going wrong here. I'm just being this materialistic asshole, not taking care of my own health, chasing after these, stupid women. I need to make an adjustment, make the adjustment, check the progress. If it's going good, you keep going in that direction. If it's going bad, you make another adjustment. That's how men deal with reality, right? But that's not how women deal with reality. So the men keep adopting these values and these principles, shunning the male values and the male principles. And it leads to this life of dependency, this life of a slave, this growth of this welfare state. So I'm suggesting that men get back in touch with male virtue, male values, start respecting themselves again, stop chasing after women like a dog begging for a treat, start carrying yourself with some dignity. And I understand that, what I'm saying is that society, culture, the group around you, in order to get a job, in order to get ahead, is demanding that the young man compromise those very principles and go along with the group or not follow those aspects of his personality. And then they reward him. So you, as a young man, you have to recognize the requirements of reality and the true demands that life is going to put on you in the future when you are kicked out of the group and there's no free health insurance for you and there's no food stamps for you. You need to actually adopt that, recognize that you have those principles, that's really the way you do look at the world, and that everybody else is asking you to go along with this other way of looking at the world. And you kind of need to balance those two things. And I know it's very difficult, but I'm hoping that by talking about it, I can offer a little insight into, this process, because it's a slow destruction. You know what I mean? It rips at the man very slowly, to where eventually you've got a man who's 40, 50 years old, who's got horrible health. He's in horrible shape. He's given over all of his money over to women, and he claims that he loves women. And then whenever some, dirty little whore walks past him, he's like chasing after her, trying to throw money after her. So the truth is that he's just getting his validation through the women. He's just protecting his ego through the women. Why couldn't he have been a man who followed his own instincts and his own virtues and his own values and built himself up into being strong physically and healthy and financially, so that when he's hanging around and doing his thing and some woman comes by, she's the one who's attracted to him? But he didn't do that. So I'm saying that it's possible for you to do that as a man in life. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that for now. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. You can check out my previous podcast, the greatest podcast ever, number 4. And I go into a lot more detail talking about this. So let me know what you think about it in the comments. Like, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.